I misspoke. It's not. It's part of the protest, the summer of protest 2025, and they figured out something new to go ahead and get onto. Um, I just want to say hi to everyone. Give you guys an update. Give everybody a few minutes to pop in because I know YouTube and its notifications and stuff like that. It doesn't put out a lot of notifications, but this thing to me, and we talked about it a little bit today during the broadcast. The replay will be up on the website. So if you go to hobotuck.com, you can listen to the replay of the broadcast. But we were talking about some of the things surrounding this over the last couple of days. Um, if you remember a few weeks ago, I did a whatchamacallit, I did a series on this on back-to-back American Civil Wars, Civil War 2.0 and Civil War 3.0, here in America. We talked about some of the things that needed to be done when that happened. Part of it was the whatchamacallit, the suspension of posse comitatus. What is posse comitatus? That is what restricts the military from operating within the boundaries of the continental United States and all of its territory. The United States was only allowed to be within its own territories. It was not allowed to have federal forces spread across. Even every military base right now, if you look at it, it's actually federal territory. Which means it's federal jurisdiction. It buys or leases that land from the state because this is part of posse comitatus. Is that the military is not allowed to be deployed within the United States. Now, it does get deployed from time to time, but it generally gets deployed in pockets. The last time was during in LA, at least, was like 1965 or 67. I actually had a tenant. He was in the Marine Corps, and he was a Marine sniper. He'd come back from Vietnam, and he was telling me about the race riots that they had after the passage of the Civil Rights Act. And being on the rooftop, and all the other stuff, it was a pretty scary situation. And so that was the last time that federal forces have been done. And does it happen? Yes, it happens from time to time. The things that Donald Trump is doing that is unprecedented, the things that is raising concern, because what it does is it sets precedents. What one can do, all can do. So if a Republican and Donald Trump, he's your boy, he can do anything, he can do no wrong. But then what happens when all of a sudden it stops becoming Donald Trump, and it's another politician, and that politician now has precedence from everything that was condoned under the Trump administration will now be used in future administrations. This happens all the time. So what is it that is being done here is that he, for the first time, did it without asking a governor, consulting a governor, giving a governor an ultimatum, get this under control, or else. He just preemptively and proactively actually ended up sending the activating the National Guard, which he does have the right to do, because under the Constitution, the National Guard are the state militias, and in times of unrest and peace, they can be activated. That's one of the things. That's because we can't deploy actual troops within the United States. With unless it's like really really bad, and they're as assistants, not as the leaders to anything that's going on. So our National Guard handles anything that happens inside. What becomes a concern is now that he's done this without asking a governor, and he stated his reason in one of his press conferences, saying that during his last administration, he waited a week or longer for the different state administrations to ask for help, even offered help, tried doing it, and he said he would never let this happen again if he ever became president. So therefore, as he became president, and a situation like LA happened, well, now he's this is part of the cause and effect on why this is happening. Okay, what is it that caused him to act like this in an unprecedented manner? Was he doing it to get an overreach of power, or was he doing it in good faith? And I think that he was doing it in good faith. doing the only thing that he knew how to do within the scope of his ability to be able to affect the situation. Now, I know some of you are going to sit up there and go, wah, 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 and complain and stuff like that. And I'm okay with it. I'm perfectly okay with it. But here's where I think that things aren't necessarily being fully either disclosed, or nobody's even taken the opportunity to talk about this, which is we've got a political civil war going on. It's been going on since, you could say it's been going on since 2016. You could say it's been going on since 2020. It just depends. For me, I think that it started in 2020. I'd love to hear I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on that. So Sue says Newsom should be brought on trial. Yes, I agree. It's a dereliction of his duty. But here's the thing: was Donald Trump set up? And that's the thing, is I think that he was set up on this. Okay, I've been saying that he's being set up. I talk about it more over on the broadcast side, because it's stuff that I can't really talk about over here on YouTube. I'm not allowed to speak as freely as I would like to say the things that I really would like to say, because otherwise YouTube's going to deplatform me. That's why I'm working on pushing as much traffic over to hobotuck.com, because that's where I can have uncensored truth without fear of being deplatformed for what it is that I have to say. And this is the super left that is paying these people. So Johnny Bravo was showing, part of his intro was showing that these people were being offered $1,500 either a day or for the weekend to come and do these protests. And then they also got their agitators that they bring in, but they're bringing these people and paying them all this money so that they can use them as human shields. And so a lot of what's happening is people are being used as pawns, because as the economy crumbles, as the cost of living skyrockets, as the dollar devalues, as the trade war rages on, as international conflicts rage on, as global unrest rages on, people are going to be doing things that they normally wouldn't be doing. And you're going to start seeing more and more people taking up these offers to go and protest, not because they believe in it. I was in a union once. I was in a janitors union. And when I got to San Francisco, I was like, well, here, let me check with the local union hall, see if I can get some work. Hey, I was already part of the union. I might as well get it. Well, because I wasn't part of their union and I didn't have the money to pay the dues, um, in order to earn my rights to be able to go in and become in the union, so that I could actually get sent out to jobs as needed until I got hired onto a job, what I would end up having to do was go out there and do protesting. Well, the federal building that was being done there in San Francisco was non-union. It was non-union cleaning, non-union construction. It was all private. Well, the unions didn't like that. So in order for me to be able to get put on the roster to go out and get a job, I had to go out there and I had to protest. And so you're going to have organizations that are going to be exploiting this moving forward for lots and lots of individuals. Okay, and this is something that you, as someone that is watching, as an onlooker, should be aware of. It's not something you should be scared of. It's not something you should get irate about. This is, you sit, watch, observe, watch it unfold, and just just kind of stay off in a corner, because the thing is, while everybody else is is pecking each other's heads, you have you can stand off in the corner, watch, observe, and you see the chaos that's being ensued. Eventually, when everybody gets tired of fighting and they get exhausted and stuff like that, then they'll start to listen to reason. And then people that have actually sat back and watched it can sit there and talk to the people and say, "Hey, look, you were played," because this is a left versus right thing. And if you also see, when I was in Dallas, in my first homeless shelter, I got to meet a kid who said that he was an American born, next in line to be a general in the Mexican mafia. And he explained to me what their whole process was. Their whole process, or what they want to do, is they want to take over what they believe was stolen from them. Okay. They believe that this was stolen from them for many different reasons, whatever. Okay. And I don't know the full history behind it. I'm actually starting to research the history behind it because I'm actually kind of curious why this is happening, because there is a Mexican diplomat that's showing, yeah, actually, no, this is our land, this is our territory, and we're now fighting for it. They want to take it back. Now they're using narcotics as a way to be able to create dependency so that they can come in there and take their land back. That is why you see the cartels down here in the southern area, especially in the Southwest, is because that's part of them taking back their land, taking back their territory. And that's something that you should be aware of, that is happening in this whole process. And so therefore, there is most likely, we've got cartel intervention here. And we probably have even Mexico funding and paying for the flames. So not only do we have, and this happens during every war. When you have, uh, the United States does this a lot in a lot of different wars. We will go and we will see a rebellion, or we will instigate a rebellion, and then we will go in there and we will pick who we want to side with. We give them everything that we possibly can to assist them in accomplishing the goal, because then they become, a puppet, or whatever pound of flesh that we want from them. That is essentially why we go in there and we do that. And to say that any other country wouldn't take advantage of and do the same thing would be to be naive. Okay. And so what we've been doing to others are now starting to do to us. And now we're getting to see that civil unrest, that civil strife. We're starting to see contention, division, and it's being flamed not only from within, but from without as well. And it's only a matter of time until this escalates. So we talked about posse comitatus and how this is being how this is a big concern, and why it's so important that we have this. It's been ingrained and written into the Constitution since 1787. Okay, this is not something that has gone away, nothing like that. It's been in the Constitution since 1787. um So if they deploy, the last time that it was done nationally, that posse comitatus was suspended, was during the Civil War. Okay. And also, Congress declared war against the rebels. They never declared peace, even after a surrender was made by Robert E. Lee. The war still rages on. This is why we're raging into another civil war. And this time it's left versus right, instead of slave versus non-slave state. Okay. And so instead of having one set of divisions, we have a new set of divisions, but it's still the same divisions. History is doomed to repeat itself. Um, yeah, yeah. Oh, Captain Upon it, dude. Hey, I knew Newsom way back when, in like, God, it's like 2004, maybe. Yeah, somewhere around there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. 2004, 2000. Yeah, that's when I ended up making it to San Francisco. He was mayor of San Francisco. The mayor before him, Mayor Joe Brown, I think, got caught with hookers and crack pipes. Uh, yeah, that is something else. Got hit with hookers and crack pipes, and so he had to resign. And here comes Nancy Pelosi's nephew, which he is a womanizer and a raging drunk. And he got caught a couple of times with his hand in the cookie jar, and he would come out, apologize, say that he'd go to rehab, just like the people down in Hollyweird. And then he would come back and retain his office. And I didn't know, like, I knew that he was mayor of San Francisco for many years, and I always talked shit about him. But then when I found out he was governor, I'm like, how the fuck did this dumbass make it to? Um, uh, no, he's not gay. He's a lush. He's a drunk. Yeah, no, he's. I've met several trust fund babies in my lifetime, in my travels, and I've got to see them completely unhinged. One of them was a Rothschild. And I got to meet him. And that was definitely interesting. But the thing is, You don't understand what scary is until you've seen a rich boy temper tantrum. You don't understand what sick is until you've seen somebody that has no guardrails on morality. Okay, because there comes a point when there is morality and facts become subjective, and it's more about completing your objective. Okay, um, and that's really the mentality when you're dealing with trust fund babies. They're honestly, when I if I find out someone's a trust fund baby, most of the time I skirt away from them, or I keep them at arm's distance, because otherwise it becomes a serious pain in the ass. You don't want to get caught in with people like that. Mm. But anyways, um well, good thing I'm broke. Yeah, hey, what's up, Alex? um well, I don't know. I really don't know. I just think that habeas corpus and posse comitatus are two of the most important things that we have. Why is habeas corpus? Even Glenn Beck has started talking about habeas corpus, and it's important. It means produce the body. Is Nancy Pelosi's nephew? Yes. That's how he got the job. I found that out because they were throwing shit at him for being being Nancy Pelosi's nephew. Yeah. There it's public that he is. But anyways, to take a long story and turn it short, to habeas corpus is to produce the body. Okay, so the Fourth Amendment only goes so far. Okay, you've also got the Fifth Amendment, which is double jeopardy and not to incriminate yourself. Most people don't know it's two parts. And I think that's the third one, the Third Amendment. I can't remember which it is. I know most of them. I just can't remember all of them. But the Fourth Amendment allows you is to stop illegal search and seizure, which means they have to have a specific warrant to be able to search you, or they have to have you arrested and under a criminal charge in order to be able to violate that, at least in modern times. And so that is one protection. But the other protection is, let's say that they do arrest you. They trump up charges, then they use that to arrest you so that they can search your stuff. Okay. Well, then they throw you in jail. Well, if you're not out within a certain time, you haven't received your arraignment hearing within 72 hours, because that's judicial that's due process. You're entitled to meet your judge within 72 business hours. That's why if you go in on Friday night, Monday morning, you're getting in front of the judge. That's just kind of the way they work. It's a 3-day rotation. And then, past that, if they don't arraign you, then what means is that you've been thrown in jail and all your paperwork's been lost. So how do you find somebody that was taken into custody? Well, if you know that they were taken into custody, you can do a writ. You can go to the judge and you can demand a writ of habeas corpus, which is produce the charge or produce the body. Okay, so either you got to show that he's in the system, he's been arraigned, and that the person's gone through that. And if they haven't, then they have to produce the charge to explain why they're holding him as long as they are, or they have to let him go. That is what habeas corpus really is. That is the power behind habeas corpus. It keeps you from getting lost within the system if they decide to arrest you and then just throw away your paperwork, because that's what they used to do back in the day. That was part of of the things that those who fought in the Revolutionary War were against. Um, uh, yeah, well, 18 days hard time. That's not hard time, Alex. Um, and I've only done 14 days. I know people that have been doing 20 and done years in prison. So yeah, no, yeah, hard time, 18 days, no. Mm. But this is why habeas corpus is so important. Okay. This is why, if you allow the military onto American soil and you suspend the writ of habeas corpus, which those two things were suspended during the last Civil War that we had, I mean, you could just throw anybody in jail for any reason, and they no longer had the rights of the Constitution. But in order to be able to do that, you have to make a case. So I have gone toe to toe with intelligence agents, anywhere from CIA, NSA, including an Air Force intelligence flunky. And I'm telling you, I the way in which they operate on a mental level, it's really scary, on so many different levels, because they know how to massage your brain and get you to do certain reactions and break down your walls and get you to trust them and stuff like that. And I have come close to losing my toe to toe with them, but I always came out on top because I improvised. When you put somebody in a corner, it's amazing how creative you can get. What's up, DFH? So, anyways, what they will do is they will create a specific set of events. You are forced to react to those events. What they're counting on is you're going to make decision A or decision B. They want you to make decision B. So therefore, it comes to choice training. Decision A is bad cataclysms, da 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 da. Decision B is okay. You'll save face, and people won't get mad, and so on and so forth. And so what's happening is he's being forced into a reactionary, to be reactionary about the things that's going on, to where he's being guided down this way, because eventually, as they start busing people, because I hear that this is going to be happening all over the country. Okay. And they're busing people in all over the country, all over the place. And so what this may end up leading to, especially if you have these agitators that are either foreign nationals, radicals, it doesn't matter what they are trying to instigate stuff. If they push hard enough and it happens enough on a national level, Donald Trump will be forced through no choice of his own, in order to be able to keep the union together. Basically, he's put in the same conundrum that Abraham Lincoln was put in. And he's going to make the same choice that Abraham Lincoln was put in, because he looks back at past presidents and go, these were great presidents. These were great men. I'm going to do what they did because in history they were remembered properly. Well, Abraham Lincoln was whitewashed. What he did was completely shred the Constitution for like 4 or 5 years. Okay. What's up, Mitch? They saying it's coming again Saturday. Yeah. Okay. That's perfect. And so if this happens, let's say it happens in Phoenix, it happens in LA, it happens in San Francisco, Portland, Seattle, Helena, Montana, Denver, Colorado, Albuquerque, New Mexico, 4 or 5, every major city in every single state. Because you guys remember when they did the Free Palestine thing, but those guys were not agitating, at least not, not in Cincinnati. They were loud, they were peaceful. And I think that was an authentic protest. But I think that this is a situation that they're taking and they're fanning the flames. And so now you have all these military age men that are here inside the country, that now that the flames are being fanned, Donald Trump, because I think that this is a chess match, because as he starts using ICE to round up everything, their response is, well, we've got to force his hand in a different direction. What you're watching is what a lot of people like to call 4D chess. Okay. So by watching this 4D chess, what you're really seeing is, you're seeing everybody's move. And if you understand that everything that happens is a move, what's up, Cherokee? If you see that, everything is a chess move. So you see, okay, here's this move. What caused that move? Okay, what caused that move? And so therefore you reverse engineer all the way back to the start of his presidency, because we were warned that we were already going to have a summer of protest. We were already warned about this. Okay, so this isn't something new. You shouldn't be caught off guard. I remember them saying it, and I remember going, oh, fuck, not again. Because that's really the way I feel about it. I think it's stupid. I think that people's emotions, whether it be like fuck Trump or we love Trump, whatever your emotions may be, everybody is getting their side together, and they're just waiting for that shot that was heard around the world to happen. That's really what I think the long-term goal is. This is that as they keep pushing, and they keep pushing, because they tried doing it in what, 2018, 2019, the summer protests, because Donald Trump has been all about keeping America open for Americans and legal immigrants, and get rid of the illegal immigrants. Okay, that has been his desire. He's been public. He has not been shy about it. Okay, and so that is a large reason why he was elected, because Joe Biden did what everybody on the left and the right really didn't want happening, unless they were part of the crazy politics and were on the know to understand what's really going on. But again, all of this is a manipulation. The Donald Trump is being forced to react as he's come in, and he's been reacting since he came into office, because his reaction to get rid of the immigrants was a reaction to what Joe Biden had done. His reaction to fix inflation and to renegotiate the debt was a reaction to stuff that Joe Biden did. If you look at everything that's happening, Donald Trump is doing nothing more than reacting to everything that Joe Biden undid and did during his presidency. And you don't even have, I don't support Trump. I don't like him this time around, but I also got to call a spade a spade. I will give him his dues, but I also don't think that he's, I also don't think that he is the right man for the job. I think he's got too much of a chip on his shoulder. He's got too much of an ego that may have worked the first time around, but everybody's hip to it, and it ain't going to work again. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And that's the way the world looks. That was 2020 after the George Floyd thing. Okay, 2020. All right. Good to know. And you know what? That was part of why Donald Trump lost his election, was part of that, on top of the cough. Mm. So, but I mean, I don't really know. Okay. But hey, if you guys want to hear me a full broadcast, so I do a full broadcast 5:30 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday, over on hobotuck.com. If you just click on the live button, it'll take you to my live play. You can listen to it. If you want to do like the green room and stuff like that, you can come over to Patreon and get, we can talk before and after the show, have direct communications and stuff like that. But, I do a survival broadcast. I've been chronically homeless for 25 years. And instead of developing an addiction, a criminal record, or becoming mentally broken, I chose to stand up and become a better person. I am, when the world collapses, I've already lived it, and I'm what you want to be when you come back from it. So come on over to hobotuck.com. It doesn't cost you anything. It's all free. It's just, if I want to be able to say what I want to say without saying cough, cough, or the pokey, pokey, or this or that or the other, if I want to actually use real words and not have to whitewash everything I say and encode everything I say, I have to do it over at hobotuck.com. Okay. So I encourage you to come over, sign up for the mailing list. If you do the weekly mailing list, you get a weekly digest. You can go back and listen to my previous broadcast, or you can get a reminder that shows up in your inbox about 30 minutes before we go live. Plus, you also get the previous day's broadcast as well. So, yeah, if you guys want to come over there, I strongly suggest it. Come on over and get on the email list if you just want to be able to listen passively and just keep up with some of the things I say, because you never know. I might say something interesting that you might like. But anyways, does anybody have any questions about this topic? I've been talking pretty much nonstop for almost a half an hour. Plus, I did an hour broadcast before this. So my voice box, as you guys can tell, I'm kind of starting to get a little hoarse. So if you guys have any questions, I would love. Canada will have ours from the East Indians, huh? Why the East Indians? Mm. And honestly, Canada seems like it's about to fall apart itself. There's if you look at what's going on in the whole West, there's protests everywhere, and these protests have been going on since like the Yellow Vests. They started 2018, 2016, somewhere around there. the Yellow Vests, and I mean the world has been on fire. If you guys want something interesting to research the peasant rebellions of the Middle Ages. There was many peasant rebellions. What you should really look at the leader, look at the spark, and look at what happens when you take the leader out. What does that say about the general people? If you're going to build a leader, if you're going to do something, if you want to lead, what's up, Alex? If you're going to lead, you should also have a plan B, C through Z, because you need to have somebody pick up the mantle, because once you become the leader of something, you become the target of something. And when you become the target of something, if all they have to do is take you out and everybody else goes home, well, then you're kind of screwed yourself. That's really the way it works. But this is, I don't know, this is my knowledge, my experience. None of this is advice. It's just me sharing what I think. Okay. So, um, okay, I am starting to get a little exhausted. But if you want to catch tonight's or today's broadcast, after this live stream, give me about 30 minutes and I'll already have it up on the blog. So if you want to watch the previous day broadcast, come over to hobotuck.com, click on blog, and that will take you to the blog. And every day has the embedded broadcast plus a written overview of it if you just want to see what it was about. So yeah, no worries. But I encourage, did you fight for the Union or the Confederacy? Which regiment, battalion? um the Union or Confederacy? Well, my mom's side of the family came from Pennsylvania, and they were Irish. um I think all of my family were Northerners, so they would have fought on the side of the Union. I don't think they yeah I think that they were probably Union. So, yeah, she's outside under the trailer. It's too hot in here for her, especially this late in the day. It's been getting in the 80s. So, but yeah, anyways, come on over, sign up for the mailing list, or not the mailing list, and all your stuff is private, just so you know. I don't sell your information. I'm not going to do any. It's just so that you can get reminders for the broadcast. Okay. There's, as you get to know the broadcast and the things that I do, you'll understand that I'm looking for people that want to support what it is that I do, and what's the easiest way to support what it is that I do, and to um, and to just pitch in to keep the lights on. I mean, I don't like, I'm not like trying to get rich. $1,000 a month is my goal, and that's really all I need to go to. So I don't really need a lot of people, but 50 or 100 people that support me at $5 a month, that keeps the lights on, keeps everything going, and allows me to put more effort into what it is that I'm doing. And right now I'm using Patreon for that. Or you can do the memberships over here as well. But I want to say thank you guys for being here. Come on over, check me out at hobotuck.com, and I will see you Friday morning at 8 a.m. because I'm having to switch it around because of moving my broadcast to the evening. And so my old man may be coming into the broadcast a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, we will be doing Friday morning's broadcast, or Friday morning's live stream here on YouTube at 8 a.m. my time. That's 11 a.m. Eastern time. And I will see you Friday if I don't see you on my live broadcast over on hobotuck.com. Thanks for being here, guys.